Hello and welcome to the Desi Sportscast, and it's a very special one. Just to say, when we had this gentleman on our show a couple of years ago, it was one of the biggest downloads we had in our podcast. So the impact of this gentleman is, well, he doesn't need an introduction. So you're not here to listen to me or view me, in fact, but let's get him on the show. And it's a very warm welcome to Mr. Ranjit Bajaj. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, my brother, and it's such a pleasure to be on here again. And so happy that I'm being able to reach out to so many desis out there.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you. Like I said, last time we spoke, I think a couple of years ago, and the podcast was one of our highest downloaded ones. So your impact is beyond just India. People outside the country who follow the sport passionately take your views seriously, take what you say seriously. And I have to say, I have to start this conversation, and we will get into what's happened in the past few weeks and what's happening with the federation. But I have to say, when we first spoke and when I started to publicly, I've always been passionate about football and Indian sport. But a couple of years ago, I came in with very deep blue tinted glasses, thinking everything was rosy and going on the up. But the past 2 years have taught me quite a bit in terms of how football works back home, unfortunately, in not the best way. And for a person that's involved, I don't know how you carry on, because just being on the outside, being not even in the country, you think, I can't carry on with this. You know, the system that's happening now, it's one letdown after another after another. And fair play to you. You know, the way you carry on, the way you fight, it's incredible.
Thank you so much. See, if we don't, then who will? See, we can keep blaming our federation and the country and everybody else, and what's been going on, the government and everybody else for not stepping up. Or we can then decide when the revolutions happen, that's what happens. And we decide that we have to take it on ourselves. So we realize that in India, and hopefully the revolution is near. See, nobody would be paying attention to a raving lunatic talking all the time and talk shows and people listening to him if he didn't back it up either with the results that his standing is there or with what's going on currently in the football scenario. For example, after the ISL came in, even I had high hopes, and I was looking at, yes, on one side, yes, they've made it a privatized league and they've killed all sense of competition, because the only way you can get into the ISL is by paying a franchise fees, and it doesn't depend on merit, and it's a closed system. That means you can't even get promoted to it, so merit goes out of the window. But I thought, because of the great players apparently they're going to bring in, and the facilities and the infrastructure and the grounds and the shmusha, we're going to see some changes in the results in the Indian national team. See, how you judge a product is by the results. So obviously you give it time, but how much time do you give it? You've got to see it at least making some kind of an impact. If things remain stagnant, then there is something wrong. But if things start going the opposite way, then there is definitely something wrong. Because, for example, we played in the SAF Cup and we drew with Sri Lanka. No disrespect, but Sri Lanka is ranked 205 in the world. And what rankings count? For example, it's like India playing with Germany or Brazil and drawing, because that's the difference between us and Germany or us and Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka in the last 7 years have had no influx of money coming in, no foreign deals, no foreign clubs coming in investing like Man City or FC Basel, putting in millions of dollars, FSDL coming in and putting in billions of dollars. Afghanistan is a war-torn country. They've had no league. They had no league. Forget about a league. Their players don't even play in Afghanistan because they have to be actually evacuated from a war-torn country right now. And there's an
Yeah,
operation on that.
yeah.
And this Maldives, which is again a set of islands which the entire population would probably fit in one borough of Delhi. And not only that, uh, if you say islands, the actual number of football fields in Maldives, a stadium is one.
Yeah.
And other than that, so how many football fields can an island have? So obviously they have this small size. So them coming and competing with us, then Bangladesh doing it, Sri Lanka doing it, Afghanistan doing it, and looking on an. So it was not like, you know, we can be unlucky once, but we can't be unlucky again and again and again. So 10 years ago, what was the result? So when the I League was going on, we used to play I League clubs, used to play in these tournaments, and Sikkim Gold Cup used to happen in Sikkim, Governor's Cup, and all the stuff. And then you used to get the Bangladesh national team, the Nepal national team coming there, and then losing to clubs like Air India.
Mm.
So we were that way above them. So when we used to meet a country like Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, it was how many goals we'll give them. So suppose England plays India, it's never going to be about draw. It's going to be how many
How many
goals will we
goals?
lose. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. But in 10 years, the difference has been so much that it's not that other countries have gone forward. They are not. Because if that would have happened, their rankings would have shown. What's happened is we've gone down. Now, how's that happened? Because all the money is being spent on the top. And I was afraid that it was going to happen from day one. Uh, because what's happening is it's not filtering down. Now, English Premier League, all the money is from broadcast rights.
Yeah.
And money filters down to the fifth or sixth division, even though they get a very small percentage. But for them, that's like sustenance, and they are alive because of that. Now, why does the Premier League allow even one penny? Because you know they are such fucking cunts. Sorry to use those words because they were going to go off and have a Super League. So they are very, very stingy about money. But even them, they understand that unless we keep the sixth division alive, there will be no fifth division, and then there will be no fourth, and then there will be no third. That's our foundation. So when you make your house, the strongest part of your house you make is your
It's your
foundation.
foundation.
The weakest part of our country's football is our foundation. There is no foundation. So it's the pyramid is not like this, it's actually inverted because all the money, the clubs, the infrastructure is on top and there's nothing on the bottom. Uh, this has been so. This is why because when corporates come in and when merit doesn't matter and they know that the only thing is the bottom line, then it's never going to be football as the number one priority. That is why BCCI is doing a great job. See, when ICL, the Z company ICL, which is before preceding the IPL, took part, uh, immediately BCCI came and banned it. Said it's a conflict of interest and it's competing with us and it can kill our business, so ban it. Let's start our own. And they made such a good business out of it that all the money BCCI earns is funneled back into Indian cricket. Now, 10 years, 15 years ago, we used to always ask the question, where's the next Tendulkar? Then we used to ask the question, where's the next Dhoni? Nobody asked now, where's the next Virat Kohli? There are hundreds more.
Absolutely.
Because, exactly,
I mean,
nobody asked that anymore.
yeah, and I mean, on the back of what you say, where's the next Virat Kohli? The questions on not being asked as much is because right at this moment, our under-19 World Cup team is in their fourth consecutive World Cup final. How many sports can we say that? And that's a testament to the BCCI, who, they've got their flaws, but they've got this sort of ongoing talent pool that's coming
Exactly.
through.
See, they know what's working and they're keeping it. So they knew that to make this a long-term sustainable project, you need to keep producing world-class Indians. Because if you keep on buying world-class foreigners from outside for your IPL, and then each team has eight shitty Indians playing in it, the
Mm,
IPL level will go down.
mm,
Now IPL is the best league in the world. So they not only get broadcast rights from India, they get good money for broadcast rights all over the world. So now all the money which is going to be earned in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from IPL, ISL, the Indian Super Football League, is going to be taken by a private company because it's profit. They're not going to invest it back because there's going to be no actual bidding for the broadcast rights. They are owned by Star Sports. So even the clubs don't understand it. See, If I was a ISL club, I would say, okay, fine. I should. Why I should invest in juniors is because forget about first my team. If I invest in a residential academy, my country has a chance of progressing. Now, how that helps me is going to be in the long run. And I say long run, I mean 10 years max. So, for example, and it's very simple. See, what I'm talking about is not rocket science, it's very simple. That's why it's so annoying. It's simple.
Yeah, this is what I found as well. That you know,
Exactly. It's so simple. And that's what's flabbergasting because they can't follow simple things. And they can't follow other sports who are doing it right in front of them. Okay, so suppose India, even when you get the best foreigners, now like India is getting, earlier we used to get, old guys who've made it. Now we got this year, last year, influx of the best footballers in Australia because finally we started paying more than the Australian league could afford. So their best players are coming to India. Now, but still the Australian league is watched more. Why? The quality level is why? Because you got 8 Australians playing. Now, see, what happens here is the quality of the Indians will never go up. Because if you think you're going to get better players and India's standard will go up, then you're copying China. China did that and now they've learned their mistake and they've gone bankrupt. And they drew with India after doing all that 0-0, after having the best players in there.
spent a
See,
fortune.
if you become Messi by playing with Messi, then in the Spanish league, everybody would be Messi because he's been playing there for 15 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the other thing
Now,
I was just going to say, the other thing that we don't have in India back home, which we do in the UK, you referred to the pyramid system, is the hope, a hope that a village team can go to at the highest level it can. I mean, you've got a couple of examples I can just throw off the top of my head. You've got Salford City, who come through the non-league structure, and now in the Football League. You've got Forest Green. It's a village team, basically, and now they're top of the third division. My own beloved
and
Leicester City.
I think Argyle some did something amazing, and then that coach apparently in his 10th match is now playing Everton or Chelsea probably, and he was talking about being able to meet Thomas Tuchel in his 10th match
Plymouth
as a
Road,
coach. And in the
Plymouth
11th,
Argyle.
yeah,
Yeah,
Plymouth
Plymouth
Argyle,
Argyle. Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
So see, why did see? But people don't understand. They call it the beautiful game. They call it the beautiful game because of this reason. Because no one has ever seen a bag of money score goals. It's simple. That's 11 on 11. On that day, anything can happen. That's hope. So now, when you make it a billionaires league, that means it's always a big club against a big club. Then there is no romance left in the game. Nothing for the purists or for the fans.
But can I?
Now, who will open a team? Because
Yeah.
if I know I'll never get there, no matter what happens, I rather go open a volleyball or a kabaddi or a hockey team when I know I can go and play in the top level. Because nobody wants to ever say, okay, I'm okay in playing in the second division. The dream has to be there. The hope has to be there.
It's
Doesn't
what
matter you
drives
don't get.
people. No matter
Yeah,
what strata of life you're in, what career, it's the dream. You need that dream. But I have to ask you, Mr. Bajaj, that you not only talk the talk, you walk the walk, and through your academy, you've brought on so many international. They've gone on to play for ISL clubs and internationals. What keeps you going? And this is where I started this interview. What keeps you? Because, like I said, I'm passionate, but it's emotion that keeps me going, and even that gets drained. But for yourself, that has so
see,
much.
I
What
can
keeps you
see.
going?
In the very after in 2018 when I was able to win every title there is to win in Indian football, from under 13, under 15, under 18, the seniors, now even the futsal, and all state titles, done it all. So see, I realized legacy is not about winning national titles because every year, whatever title you win, next year will be a different winner. Or even if you win, you'll have to do it every year. So that's not legacy. Legacy is getting your country to the World Cup and winning it. So forget about getting them there. If they're good enough to get there, they're good enough to win it. And I knew that there was something wrong because people thought we are very far away. I've seen my under 13s and under 11s game, and we've seen it when we go abroad as well. We're going to be taking my boys abroad very
Yeah,
soon.
and I want to talk about that later as well.
We'll come to that later. But I've seen the difference is not much. The difference happens after the age of 15, and that is because of just making sure that you've got the platform and facilities for them to play and express themselves. Now, there's a very big thing that Indians. First, I used to say that this forget about Indians' genes. We genes are not in question because we are world champions in weightlifting, all these things, and even in athletics, we got a now a gold medal. So, and then I was thinking back to in the last 10 years, which is the world sport, world national level sport in which, and I'm not talking about cricket because even if 15 countries play it, not a world sport. There are hardly any sports where Indians have not come to the world level.
Hmm.
Tennis, Grand Slams, definitely men and women. Okay, athletics now a gold medal, shooting gold medals, weightlifting, boxing, badminton, hockey, you name the game. We are there with the world's best now, and somewhere near about, except in football. So there is a huge dilemma here. It's not because of the Indians or the players. It's because the again because of the ISL. It's a private company. It's a private league. Even then, they have the right to select the Indian national coach, and then they have the right to tell the Indian national coach that you cannot select boys from other than the ISL. And then they make rules that you have to have 7 foreigners play in the ISL till last year. That means you can have only 4 Indians playing in every team, and there are only 11 teams. You have a goalkeeper, and mostly they are Indians. So you have basically 30 players, Indians, who are getting regular game time. So when the national coach calls a camp, he calls all the 30 players who are getting game time. So it's not from 1.4 billion, our team. It's from those 30, from the number of states they come from. So that's the second part. So out of the 1.4 billion people, how many want to play football? All 1.4 billion. Okay, I'm not saying that because if you go to all states where there's no football, when they say there's no football, there's no organized football, there's disorganized football. That means there are competitions and cups and turfs all over the place. In the last 1 year, India has had over 800 seven-a-side turfs built all over every metro you talk about. Calcutta has 50, Mumbai has 50, Chandigarh, a small city like mine, has 12. So people want to play. But a state like UP, which is population is 23 crores, or let me say the entire population of almost the US, the that state doesn't have a state league. So you don't even select one player from there. It doesn't mean that doesn't there are no players there. You just don't go there. So when you total up the population of all the states where there are no state leagues, which is the job of AIFF to ensure, because till 2004 in the constitution it said the only people who can vote for the president and get funds from AIFF are the ones who actually do something, which is obvious. That means you have your senior men's league, your junior boys league, junior girls league, senior girls league, say senior women's league. And that's the most basic thing you can do. There are 18 states which still don't have a league till date.
Do they still have a vote?
Yes, and they get funds. So why do they get funds? To vote for Praful Patel. So for the last 14, so what did he do? In 2017, he changed the constitution. So the problem was those guys were not being able to vote, and his 8 years were up. He changed the constitution. He made sure that anyone who is a member can vote. Doesn't matter what you've done in the entire year. So from that time, it made sure that there were some other clubs or other states who were even doing it just once in a while just to get the funds. Even they stopped.
And I think just a comment here from Virendra Singh just makes it, what we're talking about. So he says, Indian football makes me confused. We're the only team in Asia who draw with Qatar last year, and after a month we draw with Sri Lanka. I mean, that is the story.
Okay. See, there's a very big difference. So it doesn't mean the Indians can't do it.
Yeah.
Now, what happened with the Qatar team and our results in that particular Asian Cup are pretty good when we beat Thailand as well. So what happened there? The coach got a camp of a month with the team, preparation time. Before the SAF Cup, where the teams were, you think that you'll walk over them, he didn't even have 1 day. All the boys went from their clubs directly to Maldives. Doesn't matter you bring 11 superstars together. It's about a team game. It's 11 versus 11. It's not 1 versus 1. And you will be found out. And what did all the other SAF teams do? 1 month before the SAF Cup, they went to Qatar or to some other country or to Dubai, and they had 1 month training camps. And this coach wanted to do it, but he was not allowed by FSDL. Why? Because they rule over the coach and it's a private company, and they didn't want to spoil their product, which was the ISL, and those boys missing from the top leagues because they would be the top players. That means they would be all the players because each team would have given all
Yeah.
the four Indians. There would be no ISL happening. Now, at the same time, the I League, we play matches with these guys on a daily basis. That means in preseason, in Super Cup, in Durand Cup, and we beat them, man, and we draw with them. And when they beat us, they don't ever thrash us ever. Not
Mm.
only me, I'm talking about any I League club. You look at the results.
Yeah.
So that means we are equal to them, even though they've got foreigners 10 times more budget than us, but we're still equal to them because again, that shows when the difference is just this much, you can actually overcome it. Now, what is the big conundrum here is everybody in India knows you just can't get there unless you pay money to them. So now, why will a new club owner come in to Indian football? Why will he want to invest? If you tell him that, okay, fine, you start a club in your district, that's the fifth division, you be district champion, get into the state division. And if you are the state champion, you get into the third division. And from then, so now average price of a second division club in India is around 50 lakhs to 1 crore. Average price of an I League club is between 10 to 20 crores. Average price of an ISL team is between 200 to 300 crores. If you make it a pyramid, even for a businessman, it is an into 10 risk. So that means even if I'm there for 10 years in that league trying to get there, I have to just win it once, still it will be a break even for me.
Mm.
That's when people will start investing in football. Because right now, when you even put in 1 rupee, you know you're never going to get it back.
Yeah.
Okay, then the other conundrum about not having academies. See, if India's team gets into the top 10 of the world, more people will watch Indian football. If the Indian League, Indian Super League, if we are in the top 10 of the world, Indian Super League will get more money. Then the players playing in this league will be able to transfer to other clubs for higher sums. And that's where the clubs will make money. But that will only happen if now they invest money in academies. In 2010, when we played Vietnam, we beat them 3-1 and Chetri scored a hat trick. Now Vietnam is almost qualified for the World Cup, and I predicted this a month back that they will qualify. They have been in the finals of the under 23. They were winners of 16 and 19 AFCs. And 10 years ago, they were this bad. They just invested money in one academy. They made sure. And from there, I came to know if they can do it from one academy, Minerva can do it on its own for India. So if you invest in grassroots, not only will it pay you back, it will make your league better. It will make your national team better. It will give you more money in broadcast because each and every club in the ISL is losing 40 to 50 crores a year. And they were promised that by year 5, you'll break even. That is why out of 10, see, it's a corporate club, it's a company. They only look at the bottom line. They don't care about anything else. It's the budget. If they keep on losing 50 crores a year, it's a no-go for them. That is why 5 clubs have shut down. So this is a downward spiral. And it's not that it's looking like they'll break even in some time near. No, because all the money is coming in is by the broadcast rights, and there is no broadcast rights because Star Sports owns 35% of the league. Now, and can other clubs get in there? No. The only 2 clubs they wanted, Mohun Bagan and East Bengal, they've taken because they've got the maximum backing. And now what have they done with those clubs? They've ruined them.
Yes, you can see that from the response of the traditional fan base of both of those clubs. And in a way, you bring up those clubs. In a way, I think the ISL is lucky that the 2 tournaments that they've been involved in have been behind closed doors, because I think it would have been an eye-opener if those matches had taken place in the big stadium in Kolkata and the fan base wasn't there that you used to see. And this is the whole thing that frustrates me. And we've had.
Can I say that they actually did it because of that? They knew the backlash was coming. So if the same AFF was actually doing it and they saw cricket doing it, and a normal person would have said, okay, let's do it in the open because everybody's opened up now. And they didn't do it because they knew the backlash is there. From next year, it's still going to happen. They're going to have a huge backlash. Instead of, see, they had a very successful product in ATK because they was the most successful ISL club.
Mm.
And they had a mega successful team called Mohun Bagan, which was the base of Indian football. They've ruined both by merging them. ATK fans are not happy, Mohun Bagan fans are not happy. And then on top of that, even East Bengal fans are not happy because
Yeah.
of the same thing, because they see in front of them. So that was one of the most iconic derbies of Asia. We used to have 100,000 people in the stadium, and that's not a small thing. That shows the kind of passion and the culture which is prevalent in some parts of India. And it's not, say again, when I say some parts of India, why? Because there was a league there. Let me tell you, places like Rajasthan, which has now got a team in the I League. There are small cities, small villages which hold tournaments, and there are 40,000 people watching. Kolhapur in Maharashtra, same, 40,000 people watching. Kerala, sevens happening in Kerala, 40,000 people watching a district game. So it's not about that's not there. You just got to take the game to all corners. It's not that we've not got a Mohamed Salah or a Messi or a Ronaldo. We've not just found him yet. He's there. He's there somewhere.
Well,
Like,
what?
I'll give you an example. Dhoni.
Yeah.
Dhoni was a goalkeeper. We lost him to football. So I can just say that so many players like this we've done. If I see for 3 years as a junior, see when you're in your class, the guy who's good in sports, he's good in all sports.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
true.
because yeah,
Yeah,
fuck, we
it's
used to
true.
win all medals. Yeah.
Yeah, I had
So
classmates like that. Yeah.
yeah. So if that guy, that particular boy, is good in suppose football, but football is the worst supported sport. There's no future in it, and even though you love it, like Leander Paes loved it, there's no future in it at all. So you leave and become a cricketer because you want to be in sports, even though it's not favorite. At least the same win, same high, the same champion feeling you'll get in other sports. So we get millions of boys who are leaving football every year.
Well, just since the present president of the AIF took over, we've lost two, three generations of, in my opinion, extremely talented people because we know they're there. Well, you know they're there more than me, and we've lost that three, four generations, and that we're risk of losing a few more generations before we get this right. And I feel for those young people whose dreams are being shattered, not because of their talent, but because of the system and the lack of accountability. And what really brought this home to me was what happened 2 weeks ago tomorrow. What happened 2 weeks ago, and we heard the news of what happened to our women's team. And I saw your extremely emotional tweet, and we all felt the same way. There was a lot of anger and a lot of. I mean, how is it possible that the host nation is the only one that gets this? And
And
it's
the first,
just
and the first tweet from the president after this happens is that let's not there be any pointing of fingers. That's how he starts his sentence. Let's not there be pointing of fingers, but we tried our best. That's what he said. Now, if he tried his best, there are countries like China and Australia which chartered flights. That's how serious they were about it. So these see understand AIFF and Mr. Praful Patel is only serious about hosting stuff because he can then hobnob with the biggest of Indian politicians because himself right now he's nothing. He's a nobody. The only reason he's in the limelight ever, which is in the year, is because of what he's able to host. Now, that is why the attention was paid in hosting the stuff, not in making sure your team actually does well in it. Because what did you do this year? You had the I League and the ISL, but you cancelled the Indian Women's League. I
yeah.
guarantee you, if you had the Indian Women's League, you would have found at least 5 better players than the ones you have in the team and you would have put them there, thereby increasing our chances of qualifying. See, whatever the girls have done, it's not because of AIFF, it's in spite and
Inspired.
despite of AIFF.
Yeah.
They have treated, see, women's football is always treated with this kind of contempt everywhere, but in India, it's a totally different ballgame. It's like not even a stepchild. It's like not even a stray dog. You know, that's the way they're. I'm being honest with these strong, harsh words because that's the way they're treated. There is no competition for them in state, juniors, or seniors. In spite of that, we are ranked 55th in the world. So imagine how much we are actually, when you say save the girl child, we are strangulating them. We're not letting them breathe. So when you say when we started that hashtag all over America, don't, please let me breathe. And that's it. That's what these girls are asking for. Now, these girls prepared for 2 years for this tournament. The same thing happened in under 17 World Cup. So instead of rehabilitating those girls and making sure after the under 17 World Cup ended, and we couldn't because of COVID, that didn't happen, those girls were forgotten. Because those girls were forgotten, 50% of the under 17 team is married right now. See, marriage is great, but their football career is over. And some
Mm.
of those girls would have been able to probably get us into the World Cup this time. Now, when we lose one girl, we don't lose one girl. We lose the entire mohalla. See, one girl does went from one mohalla, one neighborhood. 20 girls seeing that Didi want to take up football. If they see Didi's dream being destroyed, they never want to go next to football again. So it's very sad when dreams are being killed on a daily basis.
But
And the people responsible for killing the dreams is our federation and
well,
FSDL, who is responsible.
and I think what happened that weekend sums up the federation. And it's the fact that there's no accountability. There's nobody holding their hand up and saying, this is down to us. And instead, they're going the other way, where they are shutting people up in a way. You can't say
No,
anything.
no, they have a ban. See, Sharda Ogra from the Hindustan Times wrote a very lovely article, and she said that we've got information that all the Indian girls have been put under a ban, social media ban, and they cannot talk to any interviewers. See, you only put media bans when you want to hide something. And what do you want to hide? All the girls are speaking up, then obviously facts will come out. There'll never be 100 girls or 20 girls lying, 20 girls in a team lying. So you're trying to hide facts. And the moment you do that, that is akin to a scandal. And nobody talks about it. See, the girls' lives have been destroyed, and the next generation, and the next generation as well, and the coaches, and everybody working around with the team. The same way it happened with the National Futsal League.
Well, I was going to
Now,
come to that they shattered your own dreams in terms of your club.
no, but not my club. See, before shutting down my club's dream, they shut down India's dream again. So the Asian Futsal League, so India's ranking matters. So wherever we so if we have under 13 league, we get points. Under 15 league, we get points. Then you get a points if your clubs do well in the AFC competitions, and then your national rankings matter.
Yeah.
Then all those points take up. Yeah. So futsal is one of them. So if you have a national futsal league, you get some points. If your country participates in the Asian Cup, you get some points. If they qualify for the World Cup, they get more points. And then you have clubs doing the same thing. Now, because we had a futsal league, we were allowed to send a team to the Asian Cup. And all they had to do was send a PTA form, that is a member participation term agreement, and fill up that we want to participate. And they didn't send it. They invited the AFC futsal head here to see the futsal league and give us the prizes in the futsal league final. But they forgot to send the form. Apparently forgot. They forgot to send the email. Now, because of that, AFC says because your nation didn't participate in the AFC Cup, you can't participate in the club championship. Now, who all sent their entries for the AFC Asian Cup? Afghanistan, which in last year was in terrible war, man. They were ruled by the Taliban. They sent their entry.
Yeah.
Maldives, Nepal, they all send their entry. And now what has happened? So they say, they don't understand futsal. Futsal is a game in which Indians can do very well. Because no one can see, the only thing people they say the foreigners have over us is their incredible size and their speed. In a futsal, size doesn't matter because you cannot foul a player. You touch a player and it's penalty. Then on top of that, speed doesn't matter because the ground is small. So that means skill matters. And Indians, the skill is what we are good at. Now, other countries who've done well in futsal, Iran is the world champion. They've been doing really well. Iran's futsal team is more famous than his actual national team in Iran. Their league is bigger. Then you've got Uzbekistan, then again Vietnam, then again Korea, Japan. So all the countries which do well in traditional football are now doing well in futsal. So there's a direct relation. Brazil, France, Argentina, Spain. Come on, it's just simple logic. And but here last time in the World Cup happened in Lithuania in 2021, five countries from Asia qualified for the World Cup. All five made it to the knockout rounds. So why wouldn't we have done it?
How can
But
they
we
get
didn't have
away
to.
with saying they just couldn't send an email?
Yeah,
How can they get away with that?
exactly. So when I say don't kill our dreams, this is what it means. Now the entire futsal league which happened, it's not my team which would have got selected. They probably would have been two, three boys from my team, two boys from another team, two boys from all over India. It would have been the Indian national team. All those boys would have made the team or even the camp. Their lives were successful. It would have been the highlight of their life. They would have got a contract every single year just showing that they played for India. Then, because of them, at least 10,000 more boys would have taken up football, seeing their success because they're just from their mohalla. If he can do it, I can do it. So that's why we see we need the first Mohammad Salah. If he can do it, I can do it. So we need, that's why 1983 was very important in cricket. If that can happen, we can have.
Yeah,
So that's the same thing. But if you see, they say you don't shoot, you don't score. But if you fucking don't go there, you don't shoot
you don't
also,
even
na?
get a chance to shoot. Yeah, and this is what we thought about the AFC Women's Asia Cup, because we did a show with a gentleman from Delhi, Alka, who does. He was telling me about the amazing work he's doing there with women's football locally there. And we thought this was a huge opportunity to raise our women's game, because they had a very good chance. Because Australia, the host of the World Cup, there was an extra space going that normally would have been taken up. And it would take an Indian women's football to another level if we'd got to the World Cup, because of all the publicity and what that would have
No,
brought.
see, no, no, not see. This is where I little differ with you. Not only Indian women's football, it would have taken the men's football. I'll tell you why. Because after this would have happened, see, we would have probably faced Philippines,
Yeah,
and now in a one-off game, anything can happen. And forget about Philippines. I'm saying I take my chances with Korea or Japan or even China. Why? Because it's a one-off game. Okay. So obviously Philippines, I think I had a because we just beaten Chinese Taipei. We had a very good chance.
yeah,
Home support, home happening. We had a good chance. Okay. So and even Chinese Taipei had a penalty shootout. So that means we had a great chance. Now imagine if that had happened. There would have been a complete crazy coverage of India making to the World Cup in the papers. Then the newspapers would have done an expose of how these girls have not been supported by AIFF and done their besti. So that obviously, so Indian women would have had a new generation. But then the expose would have also shown
yeah.
that all the support has gone to the men's football and they have done crap there. So that means where they are not interfering at all, they are doing very well. Where they are actually interfering and doing everything, oh my God, is
Micromanaging.
getting. So it would have been a great thing. So they would have everything, everything would have been out in the paper because other than cricket, football would have been reported on the front page because we made the World Cup. So it's not about the first Indian Mohammad Salah. It's about anyone making it to the world stage and proving. So if our women do it, then our men think that, oh my God, they've done it, so can we. And that's the same with the women. The women just need the men to do it because it's the same. It's the same thing. If she can do it, I can do it. It's just about proving to someone's that muscle memory that it's possible. It's possible.
And when I heard some of the stories of the backgrounds of some of the women that got into the national team, some of their backstories, it's unbelievable what they've had to go through just to get to that stage and have their dreams shattered by the federation not taking their health and safety precautions as they should have.
There
It
were
just
these,
it's
okay, there were these girls from Chhattisgarh who, in the COVID times, they were preparing in the under 17 World Cup time, and they were from very poor families. In fact, they were families from laborers' families, and somebody put up a video that this is under 17 World Cup girl. It's going to happen in 3 months, and she's picking up bricks and taking them. It's a girl who's picking up bricks and taking them. I immediately contacted all those girls and I sent them 10,000 each. But again, that was to show AIFF that this is your job. And immediately after they saw it, they got into action and they said we've sent them the money. And we couldn't send them the money because we didn't have their contact numbers. And again, there's no one to question them. Now, the girls who made it now, all these girls would have been household stars, household names by the end of this competition. And I guarantee you, it would have been enough for them to not only live a good life, but inspire at least a million other women to take up the sport and do well, because they've proven to them that this Didi can do it, so I can do it. Now, one of my teams, which I have a partnership with, Tektro, they won the Indian state, the Himachal State
Himachal
League, and they
Pradesh, yeah. I remember you
yeah,
talking. You were about to launch it when we were talking a couple of years ago.
yeah. So we won the state league there from Tektro, from the men's league, and
Amazing.
we won the women's league. Okay, so women qualified for the women's league, and the Tektro men qualified for the second division. So they didn't give in. Women's league got cancelled. So all those girls, out of the 22 girls, 7 are married now. Their football's finished. The men were going to go, and they put this new team called Corbett FC because they were a offshoot of Odisha FC in some way, Delhi Dynamos and Odisha FC, and they didn't have to play a state league in Uttarakhand, whereas all the other teams were state champions except that team. And who did they replace? They replaced Tektro, because Tektro Sudesh were a group of young boys from UP. And again, so this team is UP's team, Uttar Pradesh's team. And there were two teams from Uttar Pradesh, Prayagraj and Tektro, who came all the way to Himachal, 3,000, 1,000, 2,000 kilometers away, formed a team there so that those boys can get an opportunity because they couldn't get it in their own state. And then you put them down. So they're killing dreams on a daily basis at the state level, at the national level, and at the international level.
But the frustrating thing is, and I keep bringing that word because that's all I feel from outside here, and there's how do we bring about change? I mean, we've got a president now that should have um, stopped being the president. I think his tenure ended in 2020, but he's still our president. He's had a
No,
track record,
his tenure ended actually 8 years. You can't be president for more than 8 years.
right?
And you cannot be president after 70. So he has done both, which is a violation. And now him hanging on to power even after 12 years is a complete violation of every democratic principle in India. Now, there's nobody's been able to take him to court, but we are now on the again like on the verge of things. When I say things that they happen, we are on the verge of making sure that the court gets involved, because he's taking the protection of the Supreme Court, saying that Supreme Court has to come out with a decision and tell me. Whereas Supreme Court is just not bothered and too busy to be dealing with people like him, because they've got more national importance issues there. Because they had already told him that you are only going to be there because the next president is going to be there. So his thing is that COVID is there, so I can't have elections. National elections have taken place, state elections have taken place, even local municipal elections have taken place, man. I had a Chandigarh Golf Club election yesterday where the golf members elected their president, man. So you need, and today, by the way, today, 5th February, the AGM happened in Mumbai. The AGM is the day where they are supposed to elect the new president. Whereas in this AGM, everybody got together, but no president was elected. So it's happening openly and vehemently. And what can we now? Let's come to the part. What can we do about it? Like how I started the show by saying that we've got to do something about it. See, one is the football part. So yes, we know if when we're going to make some changes at the top, it's going to take time because the rot is so deeply entrenched. It doesn't start at the top. The grassroots system is present, but it's for the politicians. They've got their grassroots all entrenched. So they've got their presidents in the state FAs or the secretaries who are there just for the funds and who don't have to do any work. All they need to do is vote for this guy in the end. They are very happy. So they need a quorum of a majority of votes, and they have that. No one has ever done anything against it because that means going to every state FA and changing it. Now, state FAs are very careful that they don't allow new clubs to come in, new voting members to come in, because that can change the quorum. And so every state FA has to be taken to court in every state.
Goodness me.
Once that happens, because what they're doing is illegal, and if they're taken to court, it will be overturned. When new members are allowed, when the quorum is disturbed, then if we have a new state FA coming in where majority takes place, then we can change the guy on top. That's why I'm saying it's not going to be a quick process at all. So now, are we going to, and that's going to, we have to do it. We have to bite the bullet. We have to make the efforts. And otherwise, we are in for a rot. For example, see in cricket, even if you have people like the Prince of Royalty, like Dada there, Saurav Ganguly, and you have Rahul Dravid and Lakshman, and all the cricketers are running for cricket in India, where it matters. That's why decisions happen immediately. 2 weeks ago, all the Ranji Trophy players got together and said, "Stop talking about fucking IPL all the time.
Mm.
Our bread and butter is the Ranji Trophy. IPL is only for this much, and Ranji Trophy is running our lives, our families' lives, and for 3 years it's not happened. Please focus." If it was a corporate guy sitting on top, he wouldn't have understood what that meant.
Mm.
Dada knew what that meant. He immediately took charge, and he made sure the Ranji Trophy is announced
Yeah,
within 2 weeks,
yeah, it's happening in June.
because
Yeah,
that's their only source of livelihood. They understand that if these guys are hungry, there's going to be no IPL after 4 years, because that entire generation is destroyed.
mm.
Okay, so the same way where football is there, if one academy in Vietnam has made it possible. By the way, the average age of the World Cup team right now playing in Vietnam is 21 and a half, and they just beat China 3-1 2 days ago. So if they can do it in 10 years, so one academy from India, which is us, hopefully, I mean, I'm hoping against all hope that we have other academies join in. But right now, there is only one residential academy in the country, which is mine, which is a shame, which is a national embarrassment. So how many people can I take on my own cost? There can only be a certain amount of kids. Right now we have over 150. Now
Wow.
see, yeah, and I'm taking the entire cost of it myself. Out of the 60 boys, the World Cup batch boys, who we've given 100% scholarships to till the age of 18. So we promise their parents they're going to be the most well-educated kids. Why? Because India mein kya hota hai? Injuries happen, all academy kids don't make it professionals, and other ones, and then when they come out, they have to work as laborers because they're uneducated idiots. And that is why we Indians are not good in football also, because the decision making capacity is crap because they're uneducated. Because you think only sports is the way. You have to have education, and high, top quality education. So if the boy doesn't get into sports, he can be an analyst, he can be a coach, he can be a manager, or he can go into any profession, because when he leaves my academy at 18, he's as well educated as a convent educated boy. Brilliant. So all the parents, see, because I had to convince the parents to leave the kid to me at the age of 6. And that was
Oh,
tough. So that's what happened. So 6 to 15, 6 to 18, they're with me. And it's a 12 or 13-year contract, and depending on till the age of 18. So can I make money off them? No. Because the only way I'll make money is if I keep them here with me till after 18, and then play them professionally and then sell them. If I transfer them to a academy in Europe at an early age, you don't get transfer fees.
mm.
But India will only make it if we have 10 Indians playing in the top European leagues. And Indians will not be selected from the Indian Super League even if he goes and scores 50 goals.
No,
But if my 11-year-old goes and scores a hat trick against Barcelona under 11s, then next year he does it against Man U under 12s, and
he'll be
then next year he
noticed.
does it against under 13s, they'll fucking pick him up. He has a chance even not to make it to their teams. If he's in their academy, he'll make it to Europe somewhere. When we have 10 Indians playing in European top leagues, Belgium has a shit league, like I said, but their boys are playing in the best league, they're world number one. Simple.
And they were picked up through they had their academy system, and that's where the kids were picked up and developed. And this is the other thing that we've got the AFCON Cup going on at the moment, and you see all these African nations, and you know they're going to be in the World Cup in Qatar, and then you see our amazing country with the
No, see, they
resources,
say
potential resource we have.
exactly, but they say how does Nigeria do it? Do you know Nigeria has just in their capital they have 40 residential academies, 40 in one city.
I did not
We
know
have
that.
one in India, and yes, we have all the academies, so-called academies for other clubs, but none of them have kept their boys for 3 years except me. Yes, there are no leagues going on, but football didn't stop. You leave a boy for 3 years, he's not going to stay the same. This is the time when he develops. So
I've
now when we are saying the World Cup batch, the COVID has screwed up so much, but every time I've got a chance in the last 2.5 years to get them back, that means out of 2.5 years, they've spent minimum of at least 1 year and 8 or 9 months with me. in the academy, because every time they used to be on lockdown, I used to make a bio bubble here and get them inside like they are now. They've been here for the last. We didn't even send them home in the third wave because we're preparing for this international cup, which is going to happen now. So we want to, and I've been shouting out from the rooftops that AIFF, please help me. See, when I say help me, they were going to make 8 centers of excellence all over India, and they canceled the plan. So you need 8 other places like that. So that's what BCCI does. See, BCCI has a district academy. Their best boys are selected from there and sent to the state academy. From every state, every year, under 16K4, under 19K4, under 21K4, go to the NCA. From there, they pick out the best boys and make the teams.
There's a route way. Yeah.
Structure, simple. You have a structure.
Well,
And do you have it there? Do you have state FAs all available? Yes. You have football grounds? Yes. You have budgets? Yes. But nothing's being done because, again, like what you said, you hit the nail on the head. There's no accountability. There's no reliability at all. When you are not accountable to your stakeholders, you are never going to have a successful product.
and what you said earlier, we've got thousands, literally thousands of grassroots footballers, and we've got millions of passionate football fans. Is there anywhere, and you said, we've got change will take time. Yes, I totally accept that. It will take time. And the time now is to work on grassroots, supporting through the academies like yourself. But do you think there's a place for fans to make their voice heard? Because it seems not to be heard. It doesn't make a difference what the fans think, say. You've seen the forums and the Twitter handles, and
Yes. So see, there's no. We have to make sure we organize this. We make sure we organize this into a revolution. So when Blue Pilgrims came about, they came about in a way that they wanted to have a blue organized voice supporting India. Same way we have to organize ourselves because our strength is in numbers. And we outnumber the haters by million to one in every place. If they have 10, we have 10 million supporting us. So the change can happen if we make sure that each state FA is changed, and that's how they will get it done. So starting with petitions, not just normal petitions, I mean actual ways of getting the state FAs out. The ways are that in the constitution of AIFF, they have to give a chance to a new club to be a member. After, even if for 3 months they don't admit him, they have to automatically be a member.
all right.
And after 2 years, they have to be a voting member. It's in their constitution. People just don't know about it. So when I say to go to court, you have to just go to court and say, this is in their constitution. They're not following it. I've been trying to be a member for so long. So what is happening? All the clubs in India which are voting are owned right now by people who are above the age of 60 or 70. And they are not active in football. They just want a peace of mind, and their peace of mind will come from having the seat of power. Whereas we need young blood in it. The ones who understand half spaces, the ones who understand inverted fullbacks, the ones who are following the national, not the national game, but the world game, and they want to take India there. When I say the old farts, I mean not only people who are old, I mean when I say old farts, the ones who've been sitting in the position for a long time and not doing anything, they are the ones who need to be changed. Old means old in that position. Doesn't mean your age.
Yeah, I know what. Yeah.
If your state is doing well, you don't need to be changed. But if you have been inactive and you have not been able to give a state league, see, what a player needs is a platform. How will he get noticed? How will he get play? Only if you have a state league. And I'm not even talking about seniors. I'm talking about starting from the juniors, which is the most important. So in our World Cup batch, I could only go to trial to 7 or 8 different states. Why? Not because I didn't have enough resources or I didn't want to, because only 8 states conducted baby leagues. So how am I going to see my babies play, the ones who are between 6 and 8, if there's no league? If they've never played football in an organized way, if I put them together in a match, they will obviously not be able to play. And there are only 8 states doing that. Whereas it was compulsory by AFF's constitution, then everyone has to do it. No one is doing it. Who has the money to do it? The ISL clubs have the money to do it. The I-League clubs, you made under 13, under 15, under 18 compulsory for them. All you have to do now, see, you can bring out a change revolution overnight in Indian football. Overnight. You have to make sure that when you say you have to have two under 22 players in your team sheet. You make that to under 19 first, and you make it that one of them has to play the entire match. So that means you have to have two in every squad. That means one on the bench, one here. So he can only be changed with this, not that we play him for 5 minutes and bring him off and change him.
Mm.
So you can only change him for that. Then because you have two in that, you'll have to have two in the squad because replacements four. So four under 19 boys in every squad. That means you are giving game time to 40 under 19 boys and not developmental squad. They have to be developed by your own academy. You can't go buy them off Minerva. You can't. See, I'm killing my own business. I'm the only academy in India.
Mm.
If I don't do anything for the rest of my life and all I focus on in just being boys, I can keep selling them and make money. But will India go forward? No, because
No.
it'll just be one little tiny academy doing it. I need 100 Minerva, not my Minerva, 100 places like Minerva. So if every club or academy, see, I don't have money, man. I'm not a rich guy. So what is working? Passion and hard work.
Mm.
So if I'm not doing rocket science, it's just structured football and from a very young age. So if I have been able to get consistent and such super consistent results which no one has ever seen in Indian football, and I'm saying it again and again, it's not rocket science, it's not rocket science, it's very simple. Please someone do it. No ISL club has taken it seriously. Now these ISL clubs get 2 crores a year from FSDL to run their under 13, under 15, under 18 leagues, under teams. 2 crores a year. My entire budget for running all my junior teams and my senior team is 1.2 crores. And what have they done? How many players have they produced for the country?
Mm.
Forget about national titles. They've not won even one. Every time I've been in a final with the ISL team, I've beaten them. Or even with other teams, but especially with ISL teams. And other than how many have they produced? I can probably count them on my hand. I have a list of 183 internationals produced in all different age groups in 6.5 years. 6 years. I started in 2015. I'm newer than the ISL. So imagine if I'm newer than the ISL and every ISL club had an academy like mine till now, we would be producing 183 into 6. No, international produce would have been same, but the quality would have been higher because there would have been 20 people competing for that one spot. Now my boy competes for one spot and he gets it.
Yeah, and we had a perfect example of fan power here when fan power stopped the Super League, European Super League happening, and it's the lack of information. I think is frustrating as well in the sense that people don't know how they can make the change, how they can become members. Some of these state web associations don't have websites that can give you that information, so they're keeping that information in house in terms of what the rules
So
are.
again, by law, see, by law, if you actually go onto AFF website, you'll find all these little golden nuggets. By law, every state association not only has to have a website, but by law, they have to give the minutes of every meeting, every expenditure they have done, how they've used the funds, what tournaments they played in, or they can be banned by AFF. And none of them has been done.
Just got a question here from
Okay.
Roshan. On
Yeah.
the Federation website, there are football academies listed. Is it available after which? Is it? I think he's asking, is there a criteria for those academies to be listed
Okay.
on the
Oh, yes,
Federation website?
there is a criteria followed, but the ranking is very subjective because apparently from the very first year, the Reliance Youth Foundation has always been the top ranked academy of the country, and they've always been number one. And then all of us were equal, and then the only other team which has got it is an ISL team, Bangalore FC, which was an I League team, and yes, kudos to them because they have a residential academy, but they're only using it for their own players. That means for their own teams. They're not doing it for the nation. Now, when I talk about the criteria is not got anything to do with your results. How many players you're producing for the country.
Right.
It's about how many beautiful pitches do you have. Do you have a jacuzzi? Do you have lights? Do you have astroturfs? Do you have beautiful air conditioned dressing rooms? And you get points for that. How many coaches do you have employed? Do you have 150 coaches doing absolutely fuck all and sitting there on their laptops? Yeah, so you get points for that. Do you have lights? Okay, the lux meter of that lights, how bright are they? Depending on the brightness, you get the points. So basically, the more money you spend, you get more points. That is why the best two academies are Reliance and Bangalore. But if you take the success rate, that means the number of players produced for the country, they would not be in the top. Simple. See, the sad part is when they came in, instead of more money being available for grassroots, now there is less money available for grassroots. For example, Jamshedpur. We always heard of Tata Football Academy, the holy grail of Indian football. All the players of name used to be there. Before Minerva, there was only TFA. And now there's not Minerva and TFA, now there's only Minerva. Why? What happened to TFA? TFA's entire money was taken up by Jamshedpur FC. The entire facilities was taken up by Jamshedpur FC. So, okay, if their junior academies had done well, I would have said great job. But they haven't. So we've lost Tata Football Academy to give us Jamshedpur FC. Any day of the year, I mean, you ask even the Indian footballers who are playing in the national team, would you rather have a Tata Football Academy or a Jamshedpur FC? They would say, Tata.
Tata. Yeah, yeah.
Come on. Look at what they've given us. And now it's been shut down for what? They had so many different centers of excellence in India football. And so, because see, all these companies, again, corporates, they have a certain budget. For this game, you have this budget. So, in that budget, they were running Tata Football Academy and 8 centers of excellence all over India. All of them have shut down, and all the money has been diverted there. So, the money is being pulled away from the grassroots. See, if a team is given 2 crores, like I was saying, every ISL team is given 2 crores, do they spend there? No. They probably spend 1 crore there or 50 lakhs there on all the 3 teams. And they put 1.5 crores because they want to get a steward from the UK, from a Premier League player who's currently playing and last year played in the Premier League. That's the selling point. Because that will 1.5 crore from there will get them that. But why? Because that might get the trophy this year. They are only bothered about this year. They're not bothered about if you invest the same money here, you will get a steward every year for India for the rest of your lives. Because once you start it, it's a conveyor belt. It's a conveyor belt.
And this, we were talking to a Highlander, and we were saying he's feeling the same frustration. This frustration seems to be the word for me when it comes to Indian football. But we were thinking about the potential the Northeast has of producing talent pool on a regular basis. If Northeast United would get the scouting, would get the academy, they've got a ready-made talent pool that could finance itself. But it seems brains bigger than mine are thinking, no, that won't work.
No,
It's just,
even though Northeast have learned that they made the biggest transfer in Indian football history with
yeah,
Apuria
this year,
going to Mumbai City for over 2 crores.
yeah,
They understand that that's one player. And in a batch, when it passes out, you get 30 boys passing out every year.
this is what
Even
we're
if
saying.
even if 5 of them are sold, half your budget for your ISL has come out.
But it's not
Because
only
you get
sold;
10.
they will have a team that's competitive because of the talent there. They're winning on both fronts. It's just beggars belief
See, it's
why.
a win-win. That's what I'm
Exactly.
understanding. Again, it's so frustrating because everyone can see it from outside that it's a win-win situation and it's the only sustainable way. China has learned it. Everyone has learned it. It's not sustainable to do it the other way. Especially a country like India, man. We don't have the money China has, and they've learned it the hard way. And you're trying to do what one of the richest countries in the world has done and failed. And
Yeah,
why don't you follow Germany's model? Why don't you follow models or Brazil's model, or any country which has already proved to you that you don't require money? Germany is a country which has not spent money and produced the footballers.
yeah,
Iceland, man, a population of 300,000.
yeah.
Okay, a country like UAE came and beat us 6-0. Now UAE's Emiratis 1.1 million, 11 lakh. I'm sure we've got more Indians in UK than that.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, it's the system. It's not to do with the finance. It is the system. It's the vested interest. And one message I hope that comes out of this is people need to take a bit more interest and find out information as to how they can make a difference in their states, how they can become members, how they can get votes. This is how we, as a fan base, I'm talking from outside, and I feel, that hopefully people get that message, take part, and make the change. We can only make the change ourselves. But I want to try and end this show on a lot more positive basis, and it's the
Okay,
amazing
so
work.
I want to do that as well. So for all the desis out there, you'll have a great chance to support us. Our next tour will be
But
to the
before, yeah,
UK. Okay, to the
really?
UK. Okay,
Okay.
yeah. So uh, we are having it. We talk about the international tour, which is coming up right now. So the next tour is in UK. We're going to be playing all the top academies from Man City to this, but we want to be staying. So we can't afford to be staying in hotels. That's where you'll kill us. We rather be staying in gurdwaras, or if in somebody gives us a hall in their house and takes care of the kids, and the kids will be 15 to 20. We want public community support from the UK, and we'll be playing against the top academies of UK, because all under 12 and 11, it's not tough to arrange matches. We've already got 7 arranged, and we want to go to a whole UK tour. But we'll be able to crowd fund the tickets, but what will kill us will be the food and stay. So yes, probably Roshan, that's the thing. So if this works out, then one thing for gurdwaras I know is khana pina rehna free mil janda hai. So that's been taken care of. And the rest, if all our community pools in, it will be brilliant. So we've started this. You can bring it up actually.
When are you planning the tour?
So the tour is going to be, if this the whole thing COVID and thing doesn't happen, the tour should happen in August or September this year.
Right, amazing. Okay, but please, as soon as you've got details and you've got some plans in place in terms of the academies, please share that with me. You know,
Yeah.
you'll have my full backing, and I'll spread the message here, and I guarantee you will have the support here as well in terms of what you need and the support you need.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are going for a Dubai International Cup now. We're taking the World Cup batch. This batch has got scholarship
So
from
just to
us for
clarify, the World Cup batch, this will be the which batch?
2034.
Okay, right.
The aim is 2034.
Yeah,
See, there's no aim talking like Praful Patel will reach the World Cup next time, next time, next time. No. So these boys have already been with me for a year and a half, 2 years. They were with me since the ages of 7 or 8 or 9 max. And now they are either 10, 11 or 12. Yes, we've started another batch which is younger to them. But 10, 11, 12. They're going for international competition to Dubai, where we have teams like Zenit St. Petersburg from Russia. We've got Man City's team coming. We've got Barcelona's 3 academy teams coming, so we'll have to see which ones are there. And a lot of other clubs from all over the world. So this will be a first chance for us to see where we stand and how far back we are, or if we are on the right track, and if we can do. And these matches will be available on their channels. So we are starting a crowdfunding campaign for this. So because understand, I want everyone to understand that my aim is so that these boys by the age of 15 are signed by for an academy. Here we as an academy can never make money, because you don't make money on minors transfers. The aim is to make sure that that boy one day gets into a Premier League academy or a Premier League team or a European top team. So the aim is, when we have 20 Indians playing in top European leagues, we forget about getting to the Asian Cup. We will get to the World Cup. That's how Iran's done it. That's how South Korea's done it. That's how Japan's done it.
yeah.
Now you can go onto our page, Minerva Academy or Delhi FC. We've shared that appeal. You can see the boys you'll be supporting. We've put a snippet of all the goals, and you can see them. You can slow it down, and you can see the techniques. You can see how they're playing, and you can please also at the same time go on to YouTube and enter the top clubs you name: Manchester United, Barcelona, anyone under 11s, and then you can compare them to our under 11s, and you'll see where we are, and you'll be very, very happy. So that's why we really need your support. The cost of each kid is around 1.5 lakhs. That's around probably 1,500 pounds for taking him, cost, food, stay, everything together, and we'll get to play at least 7 or 8 matches there. And I guarantee you, they'll be the future superstars of Indian football, and you will have a big part in that history. So contribute, and even if you see, it's not about contributing. Even if you can't, go share that message and tag the biggest philanthropist you know, so that they come to know about this appeal and how they can come to India. So even that is great. That is actually even greater. I'm not kidding. So if you actually know people who give their hearts out for India and who want to see Indian football rise and who are nationalists, go and tag them and
And
appeal to them to help.
is the link to the crowdfunding on the website?
Yes, it is. Not on our website. It's on there on our social media pages, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, Minerva Academy Football and Cricket Club. or even Delhi Football Club, we've shared the links, or my Instagram page, Ranjit Bajaj, my Twitter page, The Ranjit Bajaj, I made that appeal. It's there. Uh, and other than that, if you guys want to be our partners and all the desis out there, and you all, I know all the guys, everyone has got some contacts there in clubs. So if you want to help us set tours up and send friendly matches for our tour when we come there, that will also be much appreciated.
Brilliant. And I will share the link. I've just found it on your Facebook page in terms of how people can contribute towards that funding. And like you say, be part of this historic journey. I'm sure there'll be thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people that want to join this, because if there's one thing we all want to help, we might not be able to make the change, but we want to help those people who are making the change, who are doing what.
And the most accountable and reliable person you'll find is me, is because I'm probably one of the most approachable and findable people on this planet.
Oh, I can vouch for that,
Anybody,
absolutely. Every time I communicate with you, you've been more than generous. So I'm not just saying that for the sake of it. It is very true in terms of how approachable and how supportive you have been to people who put that interest in Indian football in. So I've just put that link in from. Let me see if I can share it on the account on the video as well. So you can make the contribution here. Desi Sports Fans will definitely be making the contribution. And again, just remind us, when is this tournament taking place? And we'll be able to follow the games on YouTube as well.
Yes, this is in April. We'll be making sure the matches are broadcast live on our YouTube page as well. So everyone will be able to watch them live. And we will arrange, if they don't have commentary, at least we'll arrange a good commentator from India to be doing live commentary as well, so that everyone can get to know the boys as well. They can go on to our pages. Very soon we'll be having the Minerva Super League, which is going to be happening on our YouTube page live and on Sportscast as well, which we'll share links. That particular team, will be playing against the seniors of our academy in different matches in a tournament in February. You can watch there. So just have a look at our social media pages. You'll be updated about each and everything all the time.
Brilliant. And for me personally, I'm so looking forward to seeing your team here in the UK in the autumn. And again, once you've got the plans in place and the crowdfunding and whatever support you need, please let me know and I'll spread the message here as well. And you've got fans all over Europe. People are looking forward to seeing you in Germany. Roshan, spread the word there as well about Mr. Bajaj and everything that he's doing. And one of the things you say, what you say you do, and what we talked about a couple of years ago, and I followed the story since, is Anwar Ali's. And you personally gave him incredible support when nobody else was giving him that support. You believed in the young man. You must feel extremely proud in terms of not only your own, because I'm extremely grateful for you for believing in him and doing what you did for him, going the extra mile, which is not often that happens to footballers, and seeing him play in the ISL this year.
I would probably rank it as one of my biggest wins in football, more than probably the titles. Why? Because I just didn't save Anwar, I saved his entire family. That's the kind of background he comes from. And I gave hope to millions of Anwars in Punjab that you can get there. And I made him stronger, because now he knows if he doesn't give up, nothing can beat him. After coming from this, he's one of the strongest people I know. So I'm very proud of him. In fact, my dream is not come true yet. My dream where Anwar is concerned will come true when he wears the India shirt. And that is going to happen very soon. Like I said, that he's a once in a generation player. I still mark my words. I mark my words, he is, because I've never seen a centre back at 21 with such ball playing abilities, even in Europe. I'm not kidding. So every day you watch him play, the calmness with which he plays the ball is like he is a top class, top level European player. Different part that he's playing in India. So he is one who's going to be with the Indian national team for a long time to come. So I'm very, very happy that I had a little part to play. And we had another Desi who's in England, Dr. Sanjay Sharma, who's one of the leading cardiologists there, and he was the head of the Wimbledon cardiology committee, the English Premier League cardiology committee, the London Marathon cardiology committee, the Olympic team's cardiology committee, and he's the most respected authority in cardiology as a sports doctor, a sports cardiologist. He is the one who supported us throughout. He made sure he came on to the media hearings here. He was with Tottenham as well and with Ericsson, and he came when the BBC was there. He was coming over and all this is the same guy. So it was a great thing. He stood up, and I'm sure he stood up more as a medical professional than as an fellow Indian or fellow NRI. But I really think that there was some part of him that went out of his way, especially to come to a like for a football concern, third world country like India, where football is concerned, and put his reputation on the line
Yeah.
that this boy can play because that's what he did.
Mm.
And because if something happens tomorrow to him, people will say that this is the cardiologist who cleared him.
Yeah.
And he's, by the way, the same cardiologist who said that Aguero can never play in for Man City again, or Ericsson can now play for
Brentford. Yeah.
Brentford now, because he's the one who's cleared him. So that's the kind of top person he got. And thank God we found him. Otherwise, see, again, it's all because how it started was my tweet. My tweet got me to Dr. Zafar Iqbal. Dr. Zafar Iqbal was the head of Crystal Palace's medical committee. He knew Dr. Sanjay Sharma. Dr. Sanjay Sharma was introduced again, all by the power of fans. That's why I believe in being able to get to the World Cup, even in spite and despite of AFF, because we know if we support each other, and you have a crazy person like me doing the work, you're gonna get there.
Well, you say he's a top man, and genuinely, he is a top man. But you're a top man, sir, and thank God for you that we've got you in Indian football. You speak what most fans, if not all fans, think and feel. The difference is that you're actually doing it as well. Like I said, you not only talk the talk, you walk the walk as well. And the fact that what you say you do, and that was just an example in case of Anwar Ali, in how you believed in him and how you supported him in all his battles, and that's all thanks to you. And if we do get to
I
lucky
want
enough,
to I want to end this on a nice note. Okay, so when I was talking about 10 Indians being in the top leagues, how far are we, guys? Not very far. You know about Guardian, and you know how respected that paper in UK is,
yeah,
where football is concerned, at least.
yeah,
And they have this list every year called the top 60 footballers of the world, and they release it every year, but they release it for under 16s. That means they predict the future.
mm,
So in that list has been Haaland, in that list has been Pedri, in that list has been Messi and Neymar and Mbappe. Everyone of name, that list going back 20 years, you'll find every guy who's made it big has been on that list. For the first time last year, we had an Indian on the list. His name is Bikash Yumnam, and he's from Minerva Academy. And now he's playing for Aunglas Punjab.
wow,
This year, we had the second Indian on the list, and his name is Himanshu Jangra. So imagine the day we have 10 Indians in that list, we are there. We are there in the world level because it's the top 60 of the world. So we've got two 16-year-olds now, 17 now, who are in the top 60. So
well, that's a
that is
lot
just
down to you and your team. And yeah,
because
amazing, amazing. And like I said, we're really thankful for what you're doing. It doesn't come across in terms of how incredible the work that you're doing is. It has been showcased in terms of what you produce and what you're doing. I can't thank you enough again for taking time out. I know it's really late in back home, so it's always an incredible pleasure speaking to you because it's refreshing to speak to somebody like you when it comes to football. I just wish you all the power and continue what you're doing because there's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Indian football fans who are backing you. And one of the first examples will be in crowdfunding these two upcoming tournament overseas tours, starting with the World Cup batch going to the Middle East and showcasing their talent. So thank you once again, sir, and I wish you all the best.
thank you guys. Love you all. Always, always be fighting for you and for Indian football and for us.
Brilliant. Thank you. Take care.